Hey, today I am going to talk about masculine and feminine energy and talk about the Horus, or it could be also seen maybe as this um, Christed voice within you, this higher self essence that comes within the harmony of your masculine and feminine energies. Some people might call this, what do they call this? Like the Christ liquid sometimes. Essentially, because there is like activity in your pituitary gland that does release kind of like a euphoric experience in the body when it's happening. But the exciting thing is that we can operate in this place. Like we have the capacity now as humans to operate in this kind of like bliss state. And it's not in a like spiritually bypassing way, like not in a bypassy way. Did you see this fly? Okay. It is, it's just more about like living in harmony because you're not bypassing anything if you're living in harmony. So trust me on that. So it is something that we can do. We can like operate on this blissful state of chemistry in our life when we're living in energetic harmony within our masculine and feminine energies. And so I like that the card was about like allowing yourself to embrace the feminine energy. And so I can start kind of there, but I'll want to just give us kind of like a base knowledge first. Like we have two channels of energy that's running through our physical system. And these two channels, main channels of energy, are like positive and negative charge. Positive and negative charge, okay? And the left anchored side would be like the feminine charge, negative charge, and the right anchored energy stream would be the masculine. And I'm saying quote unquote masculine because it's not like it's gendered, okay? Masculine energetic principles, I guess, positive charge. Okay, and one is running dominant on the right and one is running dominant on the left. And if you go back into the chakra system that we just learned about, you can see how each of the chakras are charged according to if they're masculine, okay, outward radiating, or feminine, receiving, inward radiating, okay? Negative, inward radiating, positive, outward radiating, okay? Then you can put all sorts of verbs onto those ideas, right? Like receiving, then there's action on the positive side. It's kind of like, yeah, like outward, inward, receiving, outputting, giving. You know, feminine is this receiving, this void, this negative, quote unquote negative, not as in good and bad, just negative charge, okay? Depth, presence, inward pull, okay? Then we've got the negative or the positive, this masculine stream, which is like action, outward, shine out, shine out, create, create in a different way because you're still creating in the feminine as well because we're just creating all the time. Action oriented, kind of like structuring, the structure of things, the holding of the feminine happens on the masculine. So the feminine is also could be identified as like flow, fluidity, okay, in a sense, but the masculine is also fluid because it's energy, it's waves, okay, it's still fluid. The masculine's not rigid, you know? Um, so flow, I guess, could be a way you could describe the feminine, and structure could be the way that you identify the masculine. Another way of thinking of it is that the masculine energy in your body is like the organizing principle of your matter. It's like what is telling your matter how to form itself to hold your light. So it is kind of structure, but it's actually like the consciousness of how you're structuring things, how you're navigating, not even navigating, just how you're structuring things in your reality, how your body is structured. But it is like the organizing principle or the organizing energy of that. It's like the top manager of the structure of your life in all ways, the masculine energy. And then the feminine energy is about receiving what life is offering you, receiving information, and then choosing how to respond. It's like the feminine energy informs the masculine, but also the feminine energy is it doesn't receive the masculine. It kind of does receive the masculine structure and decides what it can do with that. Kind of in that sense, but it also is held within the masculine. So there is it's always, you have to think of all of our energy is always working according to our free will, and our free will could be running unconsciously or consciously. And so if our centers are out of alignment, it must be for some reason. If our masculine is overriding or more powerful, more charged than our feminine, there must be a reason that we are choosing that, to be honest. And that can be a little bit difficult to understand, that you're choosing imbalance. But there is like a deeper level of acceptance that can come when you explore these concepts as possibilities. Okay, so the feminine, I don't want to say female, the feminine, the negative energy running on the left. The positive energy running on the right. They come together in the energy centers. They come together in the energy centers, and it often is seen as this like weaving in and out, creating this infinite loop of infinity, like a weave. Okay. You can kind of see it as like, you could more see it maybe as like a double helix. And maybe I should find a couple of images here for the recording. Awesome. I took some time on Google and found some images to share with you. All right, let's look at him. Let's look at them. All right, so this is like typically what you would see is like being your Kundalini system. Okay, and it looks like it's weaving it in and out in this kind of like balanced harmony. Okay, and that it kind of makes it feel like it's only operating on like one plane, like in this 2D way in your body, maybe even, right? Okay, and what I'm saying is that our system is actually more kind of like this, spinning. And you can see there's areas where they cross over. But it's more like this than that. It creates this like energetic tunnel. Okay, and then I'm also gonna just look here. Quick. Just so you can see the channel. I like ones that have this kind of like grid around them. Okay. Thank you, Internet. I love you. Please keep serving the highest interests of everyone. Okay, so you can see here how there's like a tunnel around our body. There's kind of like this tunnel around our, like in the center of our body, and that's what the spinning energy between the masculine and feminine is creating within us. That's where it's generating, and it's moving in and out of the centers, spinning them, charging them, giving them energy, moving with them, offering them information, and taking, it's just like working with the breath of all of your centers. But the masculine and the feminine energy moving through the body is what creates this opportunity for us to be here, basically experiencing all of these energy centers as one within a physical environment. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about like when you're one of those bands of energy is maybe operating in a way that is out of harmony. Often people are like, I need to work on my masculine energy. It's like, well, how do you know that? Who told you? Where are you getting the information? Did you get it from your masculine energy? Did you get it from your chakras? Did you get it from the story you have about the masculine? Because often I find that that's the scapegoat of not listening to the actual body. Is like scapegoating your inability to be harmonized in your masculine due to the world's representation of masculine to you. Okay, or feminine. And often there's like, okay, so like, sure, there are things like mother wounds and father wounds and all sorts of different ways that you may get pulled into working with, healing, harmonizing the masculine and the feminine. And there's lots of offerings out there that can help guide you into this. But I want to let you know that there is an incredibly efficient and easy way to do it. And that is to actually listen to your own system and to offer yourself what you need. And maybe it might be like shamanic healing and community, and maybe it might be one-on-one guidance from a mentor or someone who's been there, an elder or a friend. But also your system knows what's going on. And I want to say that I feel like one of the most common influences on our system is the stories that society tells us about who we are. That includes what masculine energy is and what feminine energy is. What I'm trying to teach you here is a little bit of some of the characteristics of the energy waves, okay? But you listening to your system is truly the only way that you can know your system, because you are highly unique. So my masculine light and my feminine light hold all of the same divine qualities as yours. However, my physical expression in this lifetime is highly unique. It's filtered down in many ways and is highly unique, like filtered down or fractalized in many ways, fractalized in many ways within me to be highly unique in this lifetime. So just know, you can't be like the masculine energy is this, this, and this is what it is, because it is a spectrum of light. And same with the feminine. How can it be the spectrum of light? Well, yeah, it's a negatively charged light. It's a negative light. I love that. Dark matter. Okay, we can think of it as dark matter. If you want to have to call it dark, okay. Okay, so you're highly unique. Your system is highly unique. There are some governing principles that exist for us, okay? And they are, so like, there are some things that are, yeah, some rules on the energy, okay, that apply because we are in a solar system that has a light source, that is the sun, that is giving everything illumination here. There's no other light source. That we are the stars a little bit, but seriously, the sun's in charge. Okay, so the sun's in charge here, and so the sun, our sun brings some rules to us because it's the structure of that light that is illuminating Gaia. Okay, is illuminating within Gaia herself. It's an essential part of us, and there's some rules. Do I know what the rules are? Nope, I don't. You could go explore with the sun, maybe, and listen in there and listen to some guidance. There are some of my understanding, and I can share it with you. Okay, it feels true to me, but it may not feel true to you. So take what resonates and leave the rest. Just trust that everything that is coming forward for you in this class and whenever you're engaged with me is a chance for you to choose yourself and to choose your own knowing in every way. Okay, so I understand that the sun is part of our light system. And there's many ways. I could pull it back even further. Maybe, it is a great oversoul. Okay, it's a great oversoul. And there's many ways that we can think that there's elements of that sun running within us, because even if we are lights from other star systems, which some of us identify as, okay, we still are now operating an earth-based body, and earth is activated and in co-creation with this sun. It's interesting because it's also in co-creation with all the planets and things that come in and out of our solar system and things like that. But primarily, Earth is in co-creation with the sun, and part of like her energy, so her masculine and feminine energy comes from our sun's ability to create a structure for the divine feminine to rest, to then create together. And so our bodies are just intertwined with the sun and the earth, but also then we are intertwined with the earth's masculine and feminine channels. And this happens, I feel like, in every star system, just with every sun. And every sun has particular rules about how matter comes together, basically. How matter comes together and how how gravity operates kind of in the solar system. Now, which seems so cool to me. So we have a direct relationship to the sun's light. Okay, and we see that in the operations of our body. We're essentially solar batteries here. Like we need sunlight to consume it, to have it come upon us. Okay, if we don't have it coming upon us, then we need to be consuming it into our bodies in various ways. So like we rely on this, and the sun isn't essentially masculine because it is light. So this is something I want to say, like the sun is not essentially masculine because it is light. We can understand the sun as delivering the information for both of our channels, the feminine and masculine, the same as it's offering the information to form both of the energy channels for Mother Earth here. And I said helping, okay, helping, because ultimately we have free will. So we choose how much we surrender to it or create with it, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so then once we have so then we have this connection with Mother Earth, we have this connection with the sun. This is like beyond our human relationships. This is beyond we have some stories about what the sun is and what the earth is, but it takes it out of relation to other humans. When you can start to see that the energy channels running through you are running through everything. And we are all receiving the information from this sun into the systems, into our systems. Even rocks, my friends. Okay? Because the sun is offering the information needed to create form, aka you could call it gravity. Okay, so we don't have to rely on our knowing of what we think feminine energy is or masculine energy. What we can do is we can lean into feeling it within Mother Earth, within our bodies. Now understanding that we can even give it different names. So when I come into contact with my masculine guide, I know that my masculine guide is my masculine channel of energy. And so I can be in communion with them. He's like, don't call me him. And I just called him again. We'll get there, my friend. We'll get there. It's James. I know it's James. So when I'm in communion with James, I know that I can learn about what my connection is to all that is on the masculine scheme of things, or we could even say like within the masculine grid of life. On Earth, in the universe, you could go anywhere. Okay. Same when you tap into the feminine. The feminine is I find more. You can't. It's less about structure. It's more about feeling. It's more about allowing things to come together in constellations of understanding until truth is born. That's how I interact with my feminine. Whereas the masculine guide is much more direct and masculine, actiony in the world, like more of that masculine positive energy in the world. And my feminine is much more subtle, but very deep, very powerful, very emotional. She speaks to me very powerfully through beauty and color. it's very poetic with my with my feminine energy. Often it's my masculine energy that is helping me to be informed in this more like logical way with my feminine energy, because the masculine energy is offering the structure in response to the feminine. It's interesting. It's like a dance. A way you can think of it is like a dance where you have one partner leading and one partner not leading, being led. The better understanding of this dance though is that both masculine and feminine are holding each other in perfect are holding each other in perfect harmony depending on the will of you. So if you're holding on to stories that are keeping you hyper, storing energy hyperly, like overly on the masculine channel, then the feminine will naturally release, like not be so strong so that it is in harmony to keep your body alive. Seriously, guys. Like, right? That's how much control we have, because we have control of everything. So it's like a dance where it's not like one is leading the other. It's like their duty, their responsibility is to be in harmony with each other according to our free will. Because if our will wasn't involved, if we didn't interrupt the heart, the perfectness of all that is with here, like if we didn't interrupt it with our curiosity, to have this physical experience, it would just be operating. It would just be operating without judgment of itself. It just would be operating. It encounters something that requires more masculine energy to be with than feminine, then it just would, and the feminine would naturally, receive that calling to recede or to lean into whatever is happening. But then we come in with the stories being like, oh, we shouldn't be too masculine, we shouldn't be too feminine, we need to take more action, we shouldn't take more action, with all these judgments on it. And that then holds it in a place of disharmony, because we constantly want to be adapting, responding to the now moment. Okay, so what happens when we have our channels in harmony? And you will start to see this the more you just come into presence with each of your chakras daily. Whenever you tap in, maybe you'll use some of this teachings that we're doing today. Maybe you'll start to adopt that in if it resonates for you. But as you come into harmony within the system itself, and remember, it's not necessarily about being in perfect balance. There is a level of acceptance to the system that is like desperately calling for us to recognize that there is this element of acceptance of what the experience is that you're having is asking of you in the moment. Okay. Once this starts to come in, once you're in harmony, once your system is in harmony, and your channel is strong and your field is operating, at its full potential in that moment, then you can have these moments of bliss that surface. And these can also be known at, they like sometimes trickle in as downloads, aha moments, tingly moments all over the body, goosebumps for no reason. uh, a bit of euphoria. And we often feel like that's like something that's not attainable to have sustained, to like not to sustain it, to sustain these moments of bliss, this moment of freedom from polarity, freedom from the fear of living within the dance of the positive and negative. That it's not something that you can sustain. It's like, well, for a long time, it wasn't something because if you sustained it for too long, people would actually think you were crazy and you probably would be institutionalized or murdered. So I want to acknowledge that it hasn't been that long. Hasn't been that long. Okay. Like even, it hasn't even been 100 years since women and neurodivergent people weren't, institutionalized for feeling too much or not fitting in. Okay. And it like stills, yeah, not even 100 years. Oh, so liberate us and all of humanity every time you say yes to being with yourself and allowing yourself to open more and more to the potential of feeling bliss a lot outside of the restrictions of what society says bliss can possibly be. And this like little, often it's like this energy is often depicted as like a golden drop of energy coming out of the snake's mouths at the top of your kundalini. And it is like a hormonal release, a chemical release in the body that allows you to feel safe in a more omniscient and actually liberated, and I would even say at the perspective of your Christed self, which is beyond polarity. And so like these are the moments of clarity, and you've had them because you've been practicing, the people in the room anyway. When you are practicing living in alignment with your heart, you start to have these illuminated moments of clarity, of certainty, like beyond doubt. It's like Jesus is here to talk to me. I cannot deny it. Maybe Jesus was about, well, no, I think it's like I meant to say that to someone so that they can be like, okay, I'm trying to affirm this to myself. That's real. It's like, or like, this is going to happen. And I know it's true. I know that this is the clarity that I've been seeking, just very clear, direct knowing. And that can happen a lot if you focus on harmonizing the system. And so being with your chakra system is so helpful. And the way that we practiced in the last few classes is super efficient, a super efficient way. I leave those who are like really into it to like pair the chakras to what is the dominant stream, because remember, both streams come into every chakra. It's just one is more dominant. And if I go back to this double helix, like, oh my gosh, I can't see because there's this thing in the way. Hold on. Close that. So sometimes it feels like your system is like maybe the system between your, like the streams between your solar plexus and your sacral chakra, they feel, or they might look like they're kind of distorted one way or another. It's just because they're getting spun out of the vortex in a certain way. And so even though this, like the double helix may not look coherent or symmetrical all the time, it is a spinning thing. And as the energy goes into the chakra systems and they come out to the next one, they're and they're receiving in and out of both. It is this like spiraling that happens. So I just wanted to mention that even though in images or even looking at this double helix, it might feel like it might is out of balance in some way, or you're having a hard time like seeing how it's harmonized, it's because it's spinning. Okay, and so when this Christed light, when this nectar, when this nectar is formed in the body and is offering this opening, this way, offering this elevated state of being in the body, okay? Because remember, this is like a hormonal chemical release in the body, and it provides euphoric states. And what I'm saying is that we can sustain that. This is the upgrades to the body we've been asking for, is to be able to be open more. Now, this is also known as the Horus, or the sun, or the this like Christed light, this wisdom that is birthed from our own light system that we're using in this body. And it's also could be known as like your innocence. So the wisdom of your innocence embodied. Now this is a physical thing that is happening to you physically in your physical body when your system's in harmony. I want you to remember that harmony isn't about alignment. Harmony is about acceptance and loving and the ability to evolve and adapt within the flow of the dance between your negative and positive energy as you're moving through the energy of Earth. As you're basically taking in energy from the Earth and Sun and making new energy out with it in the system. So this is a way of accessing more embodiment of your actual innocence. I know it as your Phoenix child, okay? Your Phoenix child is your fully whole innocence. It's the essence of your innocence. It's not the inner child per se. Just the same as like my inner masculine energy is not my father energy, or my mother energy is not my feminine energy. So it's not like this inner child archetype that comes through you. Could also be known as like the fire of the Holy Spirit, which is the essence of your higher self's light here. And it's just a great amount of knowing, connection, and essentially what it does is it opens up the body to be receiving more experience. And so this is how it's been co-opted, and it has been co-opted by the hypersexualization, and I would call it like sexual energy, creator energy harvesting of our world. Because when you reach states of bliss, that it's very powerful energy. And it opens you to receive. And there's ways that you can bypass certain channels of the energy system. And then, it's just very powerful energy. This creator energy that we have flowing through us. And when you are in states of bliss, in true states of bliss, it's, and I would say true states of bliss and not manipulated lower center states of bliss. Like this is like true full channel, open, harmonized bliss. Okay. You're in a very powerful, liberated, sovereign state, illuminated in your own direct knowing, basically. And how is this co-opted? Okay, so if we are constantly just giving away our creator energy through putting all of our focus on things that are not not going to that are actually going to drain our energy, like a hypersexualized way of being. Is that the best way to put it? Yeah, hypersexualized way of being, or I could even say like the sex industry. In general, when we are focused on that outcome and that way of being with the system, the energetic system, especially at the lower centers, we just kind of like waste it. We're constantly wasting and being in disharmony in the lower centers, which keeps us from ever opening the full channel. It feels like like enslavement to me. And some of the wisdom from my interaction with my eternal innocence has been around like the not wanting to be a part of that system, and really starting to navigate what, if people are going to call it sacred sexuality, what does that actually mean for me? Like, what does that actually mean for me? What is that? What is that? And I still am like, I'm kind of wary of it. I'm just kind of wary of what that is for me, because I know that I do not know any way except a toxic way. I just don't, because it's incredibly toxic around our ability to be fully open and to feel everything. And it does happen when we reach orgasm in the system, except it's not being produced from here. It's a system overload in the body, and it's not coming fed from the top of our system, if that makes sense. And so it basically like gives us a false knowing of that power. Okay. And that's where I see it's manipulative. Okay. But I'm going to start working, like I want to work with this more deeper and deeper, because I'm going through body healing that is pointing me in this direction too. My innocence is saying that this is an area that I am being oppressed, suppressed, manipulated, abused. These are areas. Okay. And because I live on Earth right now, where that's a heavy part of the enslavement of humanity, or the oppression of humanity, and I know it is, I see it as a great opportunity for me to explore how I could be part of creating something completely new. And so the first is to admit that I actually don't know a good way. Like, I don't know the way, because I've only lived in a toxic system. So I surrender that. And then I know that I don't know the way outside of myself. And my mind currently doesn't know the way, because the mind only operates from the past. So how am I going to address this? It feels really huge. It feels huge, right? When you hear your innocence say, like, I'm done being objectified sexually. I'm done. I'm done feeling like my worth is tied to this toxic system, because I know it's toxic. When I feel into my heart, it's like, yes, it's like, okay. Why can I not admit it? That I'm tied into this, that I am in this system of knowing and perpetuating it around me by allowing the structure to exist in my reality. How am I going to address this? Well, I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen to my innocence more. I'm going to listen to my system, to my masculine energy and to my feminine energy, and be curious around what are the belief systems that are not serving and fostering my ability to live in my holy fire innocence in every moment. I'm going to get curious with why I feel like I'm unworthy to do so, that it's not good to do so. Because personally, it feels like one of our superpowers. And the way that humanity is moving. Doesn't it feel amazing if everybody was living in their illuminated innocence? Like, we would just be in love with everything, And if we weren't, we would be fine with allowing ourselves to transform it. So interesting. Okay, so I'm going to be exploring it around like where am I attaching, okay, to, or where am I saying no to something? Where am I attaching to something? Where am I saying no to love? Where am I saying no to love on my masculine stream? But I'm gonna feel in, okay, so my issue that came forward is like, okay, I don't want to be objectified sexually anymore. Like, that's just not for me anymore. My innocence says no. Nope, not in this lifetime. Not on earth. That's not for me. It's not working. Okay. I'm going to be present with my higher self. I'm going to ask my higher self, where in the system am I holding on? Is it like where in the flow of my operations, where in the flow of my energy am I still allowing myself to stay out of harmony in this? Where am I not accepting where I am right now? Show me. And is it in the masculine? Is it in the feminine? And I'm not looking for like things that I'm doing wrong here. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to identify what stream of energy is still magnetizing me in a stream of reality that I don't like. Where am I interrupting this flow? I don't want to be leaking out energy. I don't want to be hovering around in whatever, oppression I have been enslaved in to the lower centers anymore. So let's figure it out. Let's just allow my energy to not be attached to that anymore. So I'm gonna ask myself, my higher self, and first I'm gonna try to identify like where in the system is it? Is it in the masculine stream? Is it in the feminine stream? Okay, is it in a particular chakra that I need to start exploring? Okay, and then once we get through that part, and then we'll move to the next part. Okay, so we're going to start to do this together and get curious with the system. And then I do feel like we will move through a healing today. Yeah, I'm getting that there will be a healing. So I want to take 5 minutes now for you to ask your body what you need, to make sure you have things that you can be comfortable for when we start to explore, because we're gonna kind of identify, we're gonna try to identify a couple of things in the system first with our higher self, yes, no, and our own way of seeking that guidance. And then I'm going to take you in to that Phoenix child, to that kind of like bliss mental space, and we'll just see what comes forward for you there. There'll be medicine for you in there too. So take 5 minutes and we'll come back. These flies. Okay, welcome back. I need to get a fly swatter yet. I can't find mine. That's the deal, folks. So apologies if they land on the mic or on the camera. It just is the fallaway in the country here, in the countryside of Prince Edward Island. Okay, so we've been talking about feminine and masculine energy and keeping them in harmony. And then I was speaking about how to kind of work at doing the work of keeping yourself harmonized so that you can, not even keeping, it's like allowing yourself to be harmonized as you flow through the experiences of your life, so that you can keep creating your reality from this elevated perspective that comes from a hormonal release in the body when your two electrical channels in the body are flowing in harmony. And harmony doesn't mean that you're like equal positive negative. It means that in the song of your life, you are exactly where you're meant to be, charged up exactly the way you're meant to be. So, the last time that I communed with my innocence, like I said before break, my innocence came forward because I would just, every time I come to these places of communion within myself, it's a great chance to just offer up some of the deepest secret woundings, or the places that you are struggling to see where you're attached, or see where you are, yeah, attached, still attached to the addiction, still of suffering, still attached to the programming that's keeping you suffering. Allow feedback and communion with this greater presence of your knowing. And this happens in meditation when you are listening to your heart. Once you start to listen beyond the heart yes no, you are communing with your higher self. The inner phoenix child, this inner innocence, is the higher self in many ways. You could think of it as well as that. However, it's experienced. It's an interesting thing when it's happening because it's an experience within your perception of your reality. But it offers a great chance to ask some deep questions, because the reality of our existence is that we are choosing. We are choosing to keep saying yes to things that are serving us, or saying yes to things that are not serving us. And often it's so hard to decipher the kind of everyday things that we're doing that keeps perpetuating what's happening. Because usually we're only in response to the big things in life. But, there are things, choices of where I'm putting my thoughts in the day, or what I'm choosing to do with my body, that are maybe keeping me out of harmony. So we're going to take a moment. We're going to focus in, and we're going to meditate. I'm going to take us into the body through a short meditation where we're going to tap into the masculine flow within the body, and then we'll tap into the feminine flow in the body, and we'll just listen. We'll just listen there. With our hearts, yes, no, and with our inner knowing, we'll be in communion with the two channels. Okay, and then we'll come out and we'll just have a quick discussion about it. And then the second part, I feel like it's Kuan Yin, probably. Who knows? Maybe it's my Phoenix child that will guide us through being with yours. And so I welcome everyone to close their eyes and take a deep breath in and out. My Phoenix child is saying that it's safe. It's safe to be in love with your own innocence, and to understand that it's never destroyed, it's never taken from you, and that it's your choice to surrender to it as the guide to your greatest joy and highest potential in this lifetime. And my Phoenix child is acknowledging that being present in the body so that you may experience the hormonal shift that offers a new awakening in the body, a new opening of your senses in the body, to see yourself cultivating cultivating your sensitivity as a way of nourishing your greatest action here, your greatest heart's potential here. It's only been recently that my Phoenix child is saying that it's only been very recently in your collective's understanding that innocence is not something to be broken or to be left behind or to be silenced. It's only very recently that vulnerability and sensitivity is being acknowledged as your greatest strength. And so my Phoenix child wants you to know that it is safe to feel everything now, because you know how to keep your system in your conscious awareness and to stay in relation to what is flowing through you. I want you to take a deep breath in and out, and as you exhale, just come into your heart center. Allowing the body to settle on the chair, allowing the body to settle in the lower centers, feeling the hips on the chair, the spine feeling supported. Just through your own heart, acknowledging the safety within the structure of your body. And from your sits bones, from the bottom of your spine, grow golden roots. And they begin to grow down through the chair and down through the floor. And they're going down into the cool earth, where they quickly spread out around you. And they continue down again. And they're kind of funneling all towards making one giant cord that's moving down. Down through the rocks and the waterways and down into the center of the earth, where they connect with a brilliant red star. And this is the star of Mother Earth. And within the star, you begin to receive an energy. And within the energy of Mother Earth is her masculine frequency and her feminine frequency. From the star at the center of Mother Earth, you begin to pull up a harmonized frequency of Mother Earth, harmonized feminine energy, harmonized masculine energy. Perhaps you see it as two different colors combined to make a red hue or a golden hue. Just notice it coming upward in these two separate channels. And it reaches your root chakra, the energy from Mother Earth. And as it enters your system, you feel this unfurling or this uncurling of energy from the base of your spine, as if two snakes are awakening from one coil. And just being fed and illuminated by this receiving of Mother Earth's energy. And you can maybe start to feel the energy generating in the root chakra, maybe into the sacral chakra. And just allowing now these streams of energy, maybe they're serpents, maybe they're just channels of light. They begin to resonate with your will as you ask to witness them, as you bring your attention to them. You can see them dancing between the root and the sacral chakra. And then the channel moves up to the solar plexus. Just allowing yourself to be with the feeling of it. Moving up through the heart. Maybe a nice big deep breath in. Through the throat. Moving through the jaw, the back of the spine and the neck. Into the head. And they come together at the third eye and crown. They open their mouth. It's like their heads combine into one head. And as they open their mouth, their tongue is coming through your third eye. And from their tongue is dripping this golden liquid, one drop. And that liquid drops into the pool of water that is your body. Just allowing yourself a deep breath in and out here. And as the awareness of your system begins to settle and integrate into your experience right now in this moment, I want you to allow your higher self to commune with this system and its operations, feeling free to get curious with the masculine channel, with the positive channel, and then with the negative channel. If there's anything to be said or witnessed or encountered here. Offering yourself one more moment to be curious if there's any particular chakras that may be more influenced here or more needing of your intentional focus. Just giving yourself to be more specific. When you're ready, taking yourself back, giving yourself just a moment maybe to journal what came forward for you. Certainly, I was shown for myself, I was quickly brought to the solar plexus. And I was shown it's a lot of state of mind coming forward for me. There are some actions perhaps that I'm are coming of my thoughts, but most of this is in my thoughts now, I think, which felt liberating to hear, to get that from my inquiry here. Um, and I was started to be shown that the imbalance certainly is in the is in the is in the that the imbalance is in the solar plexus. I feel like the masculine energy is charged way too strong of a pull. And that's kind of where I kind of got to in my inquiry in that amount of time of reflection inside my system. But I wanted us not to seek too many answers because that's where we're going to actually now surrender to the guidance of our inner, like our innocence, our innocent self. And ways that I kind of experience this can be the voice of my child before puberty. Often they have great insight. Usually that's where, like, sometimes that's how it surfaces. Um, and part of the surrendering to the innocence is like surrendering to the knowing that this innocence is the guide to your greatest healing empowerment, your greatest soul's purpose in this lifetime. And people will often say, like, it's not a becoming who you are, it's a remembering who you were. And that kind of that resonates in this kind of understanding, right? You can think that, when were you your most innocent, right? Some people can even regress back to like when they were in the womb to talk to the innocent stream in their body. So, like, understanding that innocence has always been running through you, it is always there. Our body is just not awake to it. Okay. And the process of harmonizing the masculine and feminine energy in your body allows you to be conscious of it and to listen to it. And so it's like you can begin to allow the innocence to drive the car rather than the ego. And you might also experience innocence as different from your higher self. Okay. You just might. It's not wrong. Okay. It's not wrong. Remember, like, your way is your way. My way is just one of the ways. Okay. So now we're just going to get curious with that inner innocence, with that invincible innocence within us, which is essentially like our harmonized, full powered self-expression in this lifetime, free and liberated from all systems of suffering and addiction, free of all programming. amazing and free of all programming and still embodied and experienced through your whole lifetime here. Like, what a guide. Super powerful guide, the Innocence. And in the Sophia Code, it's brought forward as the Phoenix child. I have, before I encountered the Sophia Code, I experienced my engagements with this element of myself as like kind of like me on fire. It was kind of scary being like, I don't understand. I don't know what this experience is, but it's very powerful. Um, okay. It's interesting too to watch the Disney movie Elemental, I think it's called, or the Pixar movie Elemental, because often people think of water as feminine, but I see water as a masculine structure, as more masculine structure than feminine, and it holds the fire of Horus, like it holds our fire, which is our unionized energy. Okay, so let's go in and talk to our innocence and get curious. We already have a bunch of information going in. Okay, so you are prepared. Okay, and you are prepared in a way that you are prepared to be open to the imagery, the metaphor, the feelings, the sensations that are coming through to help this to help this encounter and this communion to reach its fullest potential for you in this moment. Um, and if you want to just take a moment and like set an intention before you go in to meet them or go into that energetic state, you can just take a moment and just set that intention. And when you're ready, just close down your eyes and take 3 deep breaths in and out. Just acknowledging that you're still tethered to earth, that your channels are still activated. It's like we are receiving a spiral helix of energy, double helix of energy from Mother Earth into our root, and we are extending that clarity, safety, calmness, and peace through the rest of our system. And bringing our awareness to our chest center, allowing yourself to drop deeper into the center of your chest with every exhale. Acknowledging the beginning of the emergence of a white diamond white star in the center of your chest. Starting to feel the presence of your higher self and the peace that passes all understanding beginning to flood through the body with this diamond white light. And it's creating this cascading waterfall of pearlescent diamond white light falling all around you. Like pixie dust or stardust, waterfall all around you. And you can feel it just blessing your whole system, calming the whole system down with a sense of safety and love and purity. And it begins to pool in your hips. You can feel that serpentine energy, that coiled energy down below the root chakra, illuminating, waking up. And both of those snakes, that energy turn into be pearlescent white light. And they're kind of dancing in the lower chakras, coming alive with this sensation of joy and celebration with the flood of white light feeding them from the root. They're moving up through the sacral chakra and the solar plexus. They come together at the heart and release this beautiful firework of energy down through the chest and into the arms, opening the back of the body and moving up through the throat and into the third eye. And they come together kind of over the top of the head. Their heads become one. It almost looks like a headpiece on the top of your head, and it opens its mouth. And this golden nectar just anoints the third eye, just drops into the pool of your third eye. I want you to take a nice deep breath in. You feel a whoosh of energy over your chest, as if a big gust of wind just blew through you, and you can feel wings opening on the back of your body. I want you to breathe deeply here, just nice, big, full, deep breaths. And in this dark pool of your third eye, you see this golden light drop that's fallen into the water. You start to notice that it's a flame, and it's burning within the water. It's creating a lot of energy in the water, a lot of bubbles, a lot of steam. And the whole room becomes like the steam bath. And you're smelling the essence of lavender and rose. Frankincense and myrrh. And from the steam emerges a very bright light. And you can tell that it is a human figure. And you need to allow it to come closer by asking it to come closer, saying you're ready, saying yes to opening your senses. And the figure now, you can make out details of their face. You can feel their presence. You can hear their thoughts. And they're so curious to know what will happen when you say yes to them. I'll leave you here for a few minutes in communion. I welcome you to gently bring yourself back to send gratitude to the light of your Phoenix child, to allow them to walk with you back into the room, back into the space, knowing that you can carry that communion, that perspective, that guidance with you through the day. Take a minute to journal what you need. Interesting, the guidance from my innocence today was that I do not need to compete with anyone, especially not with life. That I do not need to compete is what came forward really strongly for me. And also very interesting, like the and probably, I mean, many people will relate to this, that like we live in a hypersexualized society as a means of taking our innocent energy, which is incredibly powerful, like I said. Um, and so there had like it's very ingrained that well, for me, the programming that I was being revealed was that it's not so much of me needing approval, like to be wanted or to be, yeah, approval outside of myself. Okay, put it. It's less about gaining approval from outside of myself. I'm more of like a knowing. Yeah, there's like this element of this story that's coming forward for me where it's like I just because I am beautiful, everyone's beautiful, but just because I'm a beautiful human doesn't mean that I am naturally an object or that it has to be difficult or I have to be victimized by society or that it's my intention. I think there's a lot of story in there around it's like my intention to manipulate. Like there's a lot around being beautiful that was coming forward, which is surprising because well, not surprising. I shouldn't be surprised by like by my Phoenix child's guidance of where to go next. But because I've been addressing the tether to um the addiction to suffering, which feeds the energy of my innocence to others, essentially. And she's guided me through so many ways that I've been leaking my energy to others, my sacred innocence, um, in ways that are feeding things that I don't want. And so it was interesting for that to come forward today in that way for me. It really shifted, it's shifting things, and it's hard to articulate. So I'd like to open but there is this idea running in my unconscious that because I'm beautiful, I'll be victimized, or or I could even be seeking it, or uh, yeah, it's difficult in the world. And I've then it comes to yeah, and then I'm shifted through everyone who's discriminated against and sexualized for their outward appearance. It's just so prevalent today. Okay. I want to open the floor and sorry, my male cat was just going crazy, if that's a sign for anyone. During that meditation, I was like, shh, why are you going crazy vocally right now? I do want to open it up if anybody wants to share a little bit about what was coming through. I know sometimes it could be hard to articulate, but I do enjoy when people share for the community's sake. Sharon?
Um, First, I apologize for being late. I
Oh.
overslept. um, so whenever we connect because I missed the first part of the class, so I assume I knew what we're doing. So anyway, but I feel the messages I got are very similar. So for the second part of the meditation, um, I feel the image I received was who came to talk to me was like kind of the image of the little prince.
Mm.
And the message was, it's your royal duty to serve, but only serve when your well is full. And and also like when things get busy in the outside world, go inward. And that kind of connected with the first part of the meditation because I was a bit confused while we were meditating before. So I just kind of let it be and then see whatever. So I kind of feel I got the message from the masculine energy and from the feminine, very similar message but different tone. So from the masculine is say no and don't respond when you are not ready. Just like basic, because I guess the thing for me today is I feel really, really exhausted. Like the past few days, I feel very exhausted. And so anyway, that's the masculine telling me that just say no whenever you're not ready. Or don't bother even respond. It's okay. And then from the feminine is very similar, but it's be gentle with yourself. So I essentially the same thing. Have your boundary, and then you can be gentle. And then the other one was telling me only serve when my well is full. So
Mm.
and whenever the second part of medication starts, I get this strong urge. I need to get something in me. I need to refill, like recharge myself. That's why I want to get a little bit food because I
Mhm.
feel like I was draining. Like with that connection, always drain me a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much for me. And then the part the chakra I need to focus on the healings are my sacral chakra and my throat chakra. And for my sacral chakra is reminded me that I can start to work with the yoni eggs. That anyways, a healing method I received whenever I was doing sacred sexuality healing earlier this year, and I had resistance towards working with yoni eggs. So I bought it, I put it there. I just couldn't get myself to work with her. And it's telling me that I could start to gradually move towards that direction. And for my throat chakra, is also at the beginning of the year, I I book I ordered some like writing courses and I just left them there. And I also tell me I can go back to them slowly, like no pressure, but like gradually, slowly to work with some, work with them. Yeah. So that's pretty much everything I receive.
So interesting. It's interesting when you say that to go through this kind of activity is draining for you because this kind of presence with your inner innocence and this inner light in this way should be and can't, well, I shouldn't say should be, has the potential to be fully revitalizing. So there's an interesting story that might be running in your system that is telling you that it's depleting. And I have said many times that when we're working in our subtle energies, we'll be depleting in our, we'll deplete, we'll deplete like essential minerals and things faster than we're used to, like zinc and some of like the B12s and things like that. And so I have said that before, but that's using the psychic faculties for seeking and kind of like seeking and learning and being very open is draining. But when you're in communion with your own harmony and the light of source, it should be it has the potential to be fully revitalizing. So the question, and this is interesting, thank you so much, Sharon. And I think this is for everyone too. Like if you feel drained after being in your system, or if you have this story running, um, the thing I would like you to consider is where am I saying no to receiving the rejuvenating or the regenerative light within the communion. It's almost even just the question that comes forward is like, where am I saying no? Where am I
Mhm.
saying no um, to receiving? And do you know what? And like my guides are saying that like you did receive and you got food.
Mhm.
And so like you were told to get food, and that was the love that you are to receive for yourself. So, but the less, and I'm not sure where the curiosity will take you here, but just an example would be like, so maybe you're asking like, where am I saying no to my innocence? Like, is this part of it? You know, it could very well be that maybe you're not eating enough, right? Or maybe, are you saying no to eating? Or are you like more these things? So it's just kind of getting curious around why that might happen. And if like why it might happen that you would be drained. And maybe drained was the wrong word. Maybe it just makes you hungry. But I do feel like that it's coming forward that perhaps something that your innocence would like is for you to, like, before you do self care or meditation, maybe you are to have snacks all the time. I don't know what your innocence wants around it. Does that make sense? So it's like, where am I saying no to what my innocence really needs? Um,
Mhm.
and then it's like the undercurrent of not feeling worthy, or maybe there's not enough for me, or um, so
Mhm.
it can be very, and I'm just offering these as potential inquiries, Sharon. And I want to just say thank you so much for sharing. And I honor everything that you got in, and also for prompting this for everyone else. Often when we are engaging with our innocence, we still come from this a bit of a paternal, like a paternal place where it's kind of like we're the adult, like we know our life kind of thing. And it's a little bit, it can be a little, it's like an unconscious. It could also be a conscious thing for you, right? Kind of like that, this idea that our innocence doesn't know anything. It still is very strong. So, and thank you, Sharon, for bringing this up, because it's a question I ask my innocence quite often. Where am I saying no to you out of my own fear?
Mhm.
Right? Like, have I really said no to my innocence today by thinking I was too busy to have lunch? You know, just as an example of how I used to deny my innocence all the time, right? Where am I saying no to what my innocence really wants? And it comes back to like even like working emotionally with your innocence. So, and this is maybe you've been thinking of your inner child, but you can come further out of the archetype into this golden essence of your innocence. And where am I saying no to you? Am I stuffing chips into your mouth when really what you want me to do is color or go to bed or, you know? um instead of being present with the feelings in my body. These are like your innocence always knows. Your innocence always knows, just the same as if you've had children. They always know when you're not telling the truth or you're avoiding, and they might not say anything, but they energetically know. Same with pets and things like that too. Amazing. I'm just going to mute you here, Sharon, and thank you. Okay, that's such a good question. And it came up a couple of times with the masculine energy. Like if you find yourself holding on to feeling like it's like it keeps coming up. It's like, oh, I got this mother wound, or I've got this sexual wound, or I've got this father wound coming up, or I've got this internal saboteur that won't shut up, right? Know that you can tap in. You can even just talk to Gaia. Like you can just listen to Gaia and become one with receiving the masculine energy of Gaia unconditionally, because it's part of you. So if there's something in the story of your human experience that is making it inaccessible for you to say yes to the full expression of the divine masculine running within you, then you can seek communion with the masculine of Mother Earth and that energy that runs within all of it. And it's the same with feminine. So if you're feeling like you have a mother wound that you can't seem to get past, the human story and experience of, it's just coming in direct communion with the feminine stream of energy from Mother Earth reconciles the wounds within you, because you are earth, you are of earth. Okay, so it helps. I'm not saying that it, but when you heal in one place, like if you're open to it, it can heal across all lifetimes, remember? So like everything is possible, but if you're having a hard time getting out of the ego and out of the story of what you're doing, you can just commune with Gaia and the wholeness and pureness of her oversoul energy, which is unconditionally loving and unconditionally giving. So if I'm essentially saying no to the divine masculine within me, I'm saying no to the divine masculine within Mother Earth. And so you can see how it works, how it would work there. Okay. Okay, I also want to offer another practice on like, I don't want to say this is bypassing your ego, but how to work with healing masculine or unionizing, harmonizing masculine and feminine energy within you. It doesn't have to be understood, period. 1133. It doesn't have to be understood. Okay. It is a knowing, which is different than an understanding. It's a feeling, it's an experiencing. So what you can do is with your intention, which is all powerful, is you can take something from Gaia. If you want to do it in your psychic ability and tap into tap into Gaia and be consciously exploring with her energy psychically, that's one way. Another way is you can take anything that is of Gaia, anything natural, like this rose. And what I will do in meditation is I will use the rose as the focus of my intention, as my focal point for my curiosity and for my energy. And then I will decide I want to meditate on the masculine energy of the rose. I understand the masculine energy of the rose to be perfect and whole, right? And so I'm going to meditate and connect my energy with the energy of the masculine energy of the rose. And you can see how it would start to harmonize your own system because you would be in communion with a harmonized system. But you can also then listen to the rose through your meditation. The rose is just a good example because it's such high frequency. And so, like, you can also explore the feminine energy of the rose. And it's not about knowing, it's not about understanding it. Okay. It's not about, like, oh, like I said at the beginning of the class, like the masculine energy is this, 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 and this. It's a knowing. It's something you come into knowing as you contemplate it for yourself and you explore it in yourself and you feel it in yourself. And there's no right or wrong way to commune with a rose or to commune with a rock or to commune with a tree or to lay on the earth and listen to her wisdom within the masculine energy. And so it's like, what stops me from receiving, opening myself in some sort of present meditative state and receiving all of the stream of masculine energy that Mother Gaia has to give me? Oh, wait, there's not enough time, I guess, in my human life where I keep giving my innocence away, my super powerful innocence away all day to a system that just wants to take it from me. And we are building new systems. We are here to build new systems. So the more, I can't emphasize it enough, it's like part of our purpose is to spend time listening to what our innocence really needs so that we can start to embody that for ourselves, and which will just naturally begin to ripple out, creating new systems of being for everybody around us. Because your inner child will always choose love. And it will always put itself first because it knows that when it puts itself first, it's always right. And that doesn't mean that you're denying someone else by choosing yourself. Part of that is the surrender to the unconditionally loving structure of your human existence, of your human life. There's like a surrender of control around what is happening and an acceptance and a surrender into experiencing that from the fire of your own innocence. All right, my friends, go forth with your wings of fire up. Phoenix in the sky. Wishing everybody who is going into the market this weekend a good show. And I switched channeling salon to the 31st. So it was the 30th, but I had to move it to the 31st. The first portion of that is always recorded, but then actually the whole thing is shared in the warrior stream. So you can't be there, the whole channeling and all the questions are available in the replay of that. And I think that there's a clarity circle tomorrow, but I can't quite remember exactly. So the schedule is in the WhatsApp. Anything else I need to say? Nope, that's it. Onward. Remember, the more you can honor the advice you get, the more you can honor the guidance you get, the faster things change for you, and the more abundance opens. Peace and love.